I think we've fallen in love with easy solutions. We want things to be easy, simple, and not take too much effort. We want things to be instant because we live in a society where everything is instant, whether it be DoorDash, Instacart, whether it be TikToks, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts. Everything's instant and it demands that the world be instant as well. But that's not how the real world works. I want to give you an example before I begin my fun little rant here. When I was younger, I had a speech impediment and a lisp. It was horrifying to deal with. I learned how to get rid of it by doing tongue twisters and you watching YouTube videos of speech therapists and figuring it out by myself. Now I speak with a vernacular that people find akin to that being somebody that speaks with a college level degree. I have 3 college degrees and that took difficult timing. I applied for a bunch of grants and through a combination of grants, I was able to do this through a long, arduous process of getting 3 college degrees. It took me a long time. It took me a long time to get where I'm at today. It took me a long time to figure out how to make videos. It took me a long time to figure out how to speak. I learned breathing techniques and that took years. It was not easy. It was not simple. It was incredibly difficult and it was fun. It was the journey. Most things are about the journey, but people want easy solutions. And I want to say, when I say there are no easy solutions, it's not a defeatist phrase. I demand for maturity in a world that deeply is addicted to shortcuts. We have made a catastrophic error in conflating clarity with simplicity. And in that process, we have systematically replaced truth with slogans. That's what's happening in politics right now. That's what's happening in the world right now. That's what's happening in your life right now. Compassion with branded empathy and profound notic complexity with quippy, digestible half cents. That's all I ever hear is half cents. We chant things such as just be kind or punch a fascist, as if this incantation can erase centuries of engineered systemic cruelty woven into the very fabric of our legal, economic, and social institutions. We raise awareness about issues such as poverty and climate change, performing a bizarre ritual where we point at a fire, describe its color, and then act as if the act of pointing is the same as throwing water. We're doing nothing. We're doing actively nothing. Awareness is the absolute bare minimum, the starting line of civic responsibility. Yet we have been sold a lie that it is the finish line, just to be aware. You should know that Shein is doing bad things. What are we doing about Shein, Temu? What are we doing about all these things? What are we doing about McDonald's supporting Israel? Nothing. The hard, unglamorous truth of all this is, if a solution to a deeply rooted problem can be completely and comfortably encapsulated in an Instagram story, a 5-second video, or a snappy hashtag, it is almost certainly a placebo. Placebo is a sugar pill if you don't know. Sugar pill that you give to a kid and say this will cure everything. My placebo when I was growing up was, I believe, amoxicillin. It was that pink amoxicillin in that tube that my mother gave me. It's a psychological pacifier designed to make the advocate feel better. Not the situation become better, but you as a person feel better. Same way as you donate to charity and you feel like a good person, but are you actually doing better? It is the moral equivalent of using a Band-Aid to treat a cancer. That is what you're doing. That's all you're doing. And then you're hosting a party to celebrate your medical prowess because you put a Band-Aid over a cancer patient. We have fallen deeply, madly, and catastrophically in love with the language of commerce, a style of communication meticulously engineered not to explain or explore, but to sell. Everything, including human suffering, has been commodified and branded. Grief is not a process to be endured as it should be. It is content to be curated, complete with a melancholic aesthetic and a poignant, it's beautiful caption. Rage is not a catalyst for sustained action as it was when the days of civil rights were going on. It is a temporary aesthetic, a filter you can apply to your online persona before moving on to the next trending outrage. Activism itself has been hollowed out and repackaged with a focus on fonts, color palettes, and hashtag optimization. We have taken the sacred, difficult language of healing, the language of therapy, and turned it into pop culture therapy. The growth, and we've turned it into the series of marketing pitches. Just manifested. You chirp, ignoring the brutal realities of systemic barriers and generational trauma. Love is love. We declare. A beautiful sentiment that becomes meaningless when divorced from the gritty legislative and cultural work of protecting that love from violence and discrimination. Normalize this. Normalize whatever it is we demand, as if normalization is a switch you flip with a viral post rather than a slow generational shift in behavior and understanding achieved.
achieved through relentless, uncelebrated effort. How in the big year 2025 are people homophobic? How in the big year 2025 is this? How in the big year 2025? Because people don't grow based on time, they grow based on effort and work. Time means nothing. So we have old people that are stupid. And I don't mean wisdom stupid, I mean intelligence stupid. All these phrases are sandcastles built on the shore of a vast, turbulent ocean of nuance. They do not solve the problem. They simply wrap it in an attractive packaging and call it progress, allowing us to consume the illusion of change without the actual labor of actually creating it. This addiction to commercial language isn't just a convenient coping mechanism. It is a potent, debilitating drug for the modern soul. It flattens you, leaves you stale. And besides flattening you and making you stale and stagnant, it makes your ignorance seem beautiful. You already know enough. Your gut feeling is as valid as decades of research. You are inherently on the good side, right? That's what you are. That's you. You've done nothing. When you have an easily digestible villain and simple, satisfying narratives that require no further thought, it allows you to achieve a state of moral indignation from the comfort of your couch, to feel the electric thrill of righteousness without the accompanying burden of accountability. The algorithm, the great enabler of your worst impulses, actively rewards this performative outrage and these curated tears, creating a feedback loop where the most simplistic, emotionally charged content is amplified while complex, nuanced discussion are suppressed. They're unengaging. So to circumvent this, I would like you to comment something very nice about yourself. As a matter of fact, I would love it if you liked the video. It's something I never ask. Never ask people to like the video. If you would comment something nice, something of that variety. I don't know if you'll share this video. I doubt you will, but I'd love it if you did. That'd be nice. And the results of people unengaging with this or seeing conversations as nuanced as not fitting my echo chamber is that a populace that has become perpetually emotionally exhausted, yet intellectually malnourished, having burned through their capacity for genuine empathy on a daily diet of this manufactured drama. I'll tell you something important. I learn so much bad news every single day. I decide and pick and choose what to talk about, so I never run out of videos. There's always something bad going on. There's a TikTok teacher who was a substitute, who was a stud, who ended up trying to be promiscuous with her students. Trump just hosted a party in Mar-a-Lago, and he wants to launch this habitual holy war in Nigeria for their destruction of Christian people. It's a whole thing going on. We still have ICE funded during a government shutdown. Did you know ICE is still funded? Always just drama over and over again. That's not even drama, that's real life. Because now it's affecting my mother who can't get EBT. That's why I have a GoFundMe in the description right now, because that's destroying my family. Despite the fact that I lost my job. I lost my job because I made a comment about Charlie Kirk. That's the whole thing. That's sad, isn't it? There's no nuance anymore. And when you do this over and over again, when you're constantly bombarded by bad things over and over, it leaves nothing in reserve for the slow, patient work of building something better in your own community. This systemic aversion to complexity has reshaped our very cognitive landscape. Hard conversations, the ones where you must listen to someone you disagree with, sit with uncomfortable truths, and potentially have your own views challenged, are now reflectively framed as personal attacks. Long-form thinking, the ability to hold a complex idea in your mind and follow it through a labyrinth of paragraphs, is dismissed as elitist or gatekeeping. So many people say that when I speak, no, you're talking too complex using big words because you just want to sound smart. No, you ninny, I'm using big words because these are the words that I knew. And even in some videos, I choose to use less complex language to make it so much easier for people to understand. But with this one, I refuse. Complicated explanations for multifaceted problems are not met with curiosity. They are met with impatience and accusations of disgust. Consequently, we're cultivating a generation that has been trained to learn everything through headlines and captions. You clicked on this video for me, I hope, but I imagine the thumbnail, maybe the title got you, something of that variety. That's what you've learned to do. Attention spans have been shredded by the relentless pace of the feed. You probably don't even sit through the whole video. Maybe you will sit through the whole video. This is longer. Maybe you're watching this on your TV. As a matter of fact, also comment where you're watching this from. Do that for me. Why don't you do that? We can no longer sit through the necessary paragraphs required to understand anything of substance. I'm not reading all that. You want a TLDR? Here goes a TLDR. We have lost the crucial ability to distinguish between feeling right and feeling correct. That's what we lost. The former is a cheap, readily available dopamine hit, a warm confirmation of your existing biases. The latter, which is being correct, in case you forgot because it's been a sentence between those two sentences, is a cold, difficult pursuit that requires welcoming contradiction, enduring correction. What's one other one? Let me think. Embracing the profound discomfort of realizing you were wrong. Maybe that's a thing I can say. That'd be smart to say too. That'd be good. I want to point this out. A lot of people think that I script these things. Nope. Just rambling. Just rambling. And whenever I bring this up, I'm met with two responses. Oh, this is unscripted, so you're stupid. I don't understand why you would say this if it's just a ramble. And the second thing I get is, wow, how can you speak without reading from a script? Leads me to believe that people aren't speaking. People aren't having conversation. It's ridiculous. It's disgusting. All experiences that the commercial language of easy answers is explicitly designed to help you avoid, right? Right? Having conversation. Nothing of genuine lasting value in this world has ever been built with ease or speed. Where's Flappy Bird? What happened to that? What happened to that gotcha game you played in 2010 or 2012? What happened to those games? What happened to those mobile games you used to play back in the day? What happened to Angry Birds? Angry Birds is probably still going on. I don't know what's going on with Angry Birds. But the things that last are the things you don't even realize are around. I have an alfalfa going on right here. You ever seen Little Rascals? Little alfalfa going on. Those are the things that truly last in this reality. This was once a foundational truth of the human experience, but we have collectively chosen to forget it. We want six-pack abs in 2 weeks through a miracle pill, not through years of disciplined diet and exercise. I want you to look at my body for a moment. Just a second. Am I unfit? See my body? Probably will assume, oh, you don't have abs or maybe some of that bratty. I bench my body weight, right? This is just specific. I bench my body weight. I weigh 170 pounds. I'm 5'5". I bench my body weight. I walk at a pace of 4 miles per hour, 4 miles every single morning at the gym after I work out. That's what I do. I also do some squats, some sit-ups. I do a lot of complex compound exercise. I have been doing this for quite some time to maintain my body. That's what I've been doing. That's what I've been doing. It's very important. And I've been eating right. I cut out bread. I eat rice. I've been eating chicken. I have not ate red meat in any capacity. I have been working myself to the bone. I've eaten broccoli and beets. I hate beets, spinach. That's work. That's discipline. That takes effort. I've been stretching. I can touch my toes finally. So happy I can touch my toes. It seems like a small thing, but touching my toes, I was hoping I could touch my toes for eons and years. That was so important to me that I could touch my toes. Very important. We demand social justice, but we balk at the prospect of dismantling the intricate, deeply embedded systems of power and privilege that sustain inequality. We seek love without the labor of communication and compromise. Think of this for a moment. Think about Tinder and all these dating apps, and you just see them. They're advertisements of what they really are. They're just advertisements for who they are. We want art without the risk of failure and ridicule. That's why you want AI art. We want wealth without the investment of time and delayed gratification. Hence, we have crypto stocks. This entire world has now been built in the opposite of actual progress. We don't genuinely want to do what is required. We want to feel as if we have done it. And an entire economy of companies, influencers, and self-proclaimed gurus have emerged to exploit this weakness, selling us the fantasy, packaging the illusion, and slapping labels such as awareness, success, and growth on what is, in reality, intellectual and spiritual junk food. I have a sponsored ad, by the way, right? And they pay me $6 for every sign up. I tell people, I get $6 for every sign up. You can delete the app. As a matter of fact, I linked it, the top comment, because I hope somebody might sign up for it. Because I get $6 every time signs up. Every time signs up. I don't even want you to use the app, to be quite honest with you. I don't even care. I don't even care anymore. I just want the $6. You know what sucks? The scariest part of this entire dynamic is not merely that people are lazy, it is that they are fundamentally terrified, because once you truly internalize the reality that every significant issue, from personal healing to global geopolitics, requires an investment of time, a tolerance for ambiguity, and a vast reservoir of patience, you are forced to confront a terrifying rule. No one is coming to save you quickly. There is no Messiah, no magic policy, no 10-step program that will absolve you of the responsibility of doing the hard work yourself. You have to sit in the quiet, terrifying silence with your own ignorance, your own unexamined biases, your own internal contradictions. You have to admit openly and painfully that you are part of the problem you seek to solve. And then you have to wake up the next day and strive to do something marginally better. And then you have to repeat that process day after unglamorous day for the rest of your life with no guarantee of a grand cinematic payoff. Sometimes I'll tell a story about my life and people say, well, that didn't end nice. No dip. Not every story ends nice. That's the world. That's what it is. We have come to treat gray areas as a form of intellectual betrayal. I am gray as a person, I've discovered. I had a comment recently that said this exact words. I can't tell if you're Republican or liberal, but I like the way you speak and you speak well. That's it. That's it. That's the whole thing. That's what they said. As if there's only two things a human can be on this planet. It's somehow being gray for some people is a moral failing. Human existence is composed of nothing but gray areas. There are no pure heroes in history. Period. That's the entire purpose of when I made a video talking about American heroes. There's no pure heroes in history. Only flawed people who in specific moments manage to align their actions with a greater good. There are no easy fixes, only a series of trade-offs where every potential solution creates new unforeseen problems and carries a hidden cost. On the path of genuine change, people will inevitably get hurt. They will misunderstand your intentions, and some will grow to hate you for trying to alter a system for which they benefit. You will be perpetually tired. You will be wrong more often than you are right, and you will frequently feel utter loss. But this arduous, thankless struggle is not the failure of the process. It is the process. It is the price of admission for meaningful change and the true cost of an authentic freedom. Anyone who tries to sell you an easier path is either lying to you for their own gain or is peddling a product they have no intention of using themselves. What we desperately need now is a radical rehumanization of nuance. We must remember that the real work of fixing broken things is almost never glamorous. It is overwhelmingly invisible. It happens in the drab, fluorescent lit rooms of non-profit offices, and in the quiet tension of family therapy sessions, and the tedious, detail-oriented grind of community organizing, and the complex precedent-setting arguments of courtrooms, and in the solitary, painstaking labor of writing and researching books. It does not happen on brightly lit stage, in viral slogans, or in limited edition merch drops. Real solutions are utterly indifferent to your personal aesthetic. They do not care about your Instagram feed. They only care if you show up when the work is difficult and uncelebrated. They don't care if your mind is supple enough to hold two opposing ideas at once without self-circuiting. You know what they care about more so? They care if you possess humility to listen deeply and patiently. You can hold those two opposing ideas in your head, but you must do so with humility and listening. You can hold them, but you must be able to recognize them as well. Hold them patiently without feeling the compulsion to be the loudest in the room. We will fail. We will fail. We will fail repeatedly, spectacularly. We will fail publicly. But the ultimate goal is not to construct a perfect, flawless persona or to present a spotless record of victory. The goal is to cultivate a spirit of radical accountability, an insatiable curiosity, and a deep, abiding humility in the face of all we do not know. We cannot continue to treat difficult, multifaceted realities as if they were branding problems to be solved with better messaging. We cannot keep editing the profound, messy truth for the sake of clarity. If that process leaches, it will destroy the necessary weight and complexity of everything. Simplicity has its place, to be sure. I miss Skeletor. I miss Megatron. I miss simple villains. I do. But it should be the hard-won reward of deep, sustained thought, not a cheap substitute for it. We have to earn the right to simplicity. And that means we must first be willing to sit for a long time in the mess, the unanswered questions, and the unresolved contradictions, and do the work there. That's what we have to do.
I'm your Nick and Night, be my Laurel low. Ooh, happy to try what you need. Your world, I love to live in it. Ooh, I love the ride when you